Okay, let's start with a big question. If you had to draw, like, a map of your life right now, think about it like your own personal solar system. What groups, what places, what people would be the biggest circles, the ones with the strongest pull. Seriously, how much of who you are right this second was shaped by the people you see and talk to every single day? Maybe without even, thinking about it much.
That's a great way to frame it. And that question, that's basically our launch pad for this deep dive. Our mission today really is to dig into a bunch of social studies sources we've looked at. We want to pull out the big idea, which
Yeah.
is essentially that your communities are, well, they're like the machinery influencing your identity
Yeah.
through culture, values, shared stuff you go through together.
Yeah, think of it like we're going on a knowledge scavenger hunt today. We're aiming to give you some solid definitions, maybe some surprising ideas about how these groups kind of compete for your attention, actually. And, super important, we've got a cool tool for you later, an identity map, to help you visualize this whole complex thing for yourself.
Right. So first things first, we need to define community. It's easy to think of it as just, a place or a bunch of people. But the sources we read, they push for something deeper. Community isn't just the noun, the thing. It's the connection, the active link.
Oh, I like that. Like invisible infrastructure, maybe.
Yeah.
It's not just the buildings on your street. It's that feeling of, yeah, we look out for each other here, or that common goal everyone's working towards. The sources literally say it's the connections that link them with a constant flow, right, of information, expectations.
Exactly. And you see these connections pop up in specific types of communities. Think about the examples the sources gave us. School was with the connection there. Shared goals, right? Learning, teamwork. Your neighborhood. That's about shared space, safety, looking out for each other. Then you've got sports teams, maybe art clubs. Those are fueled by shared passion, discipline, working together on something specific.
And we absolutely can't leave out online groups these days. I mean, whether it's your gaming crew or a fan forum for a show you love, those are huge. They build your digital identity. They have their own rules, their own inside jokes, their own ways of deciding who belongs. You don't even have to leave your room. Okay, so definition. Community equals connections. Makes sense. But let's get into the mechanism. How does just being in these groups, these spaces, how does that actually, like, change you inside? How does the community shape you?
Okay, so the main way is through development. Just being part of these groups gives you stuff right away. You build social skills, how to talk to people, how to disagree without fighting, how to cooperate. You make friends, hopefully lasting ones, who become like your support system. But maybe the deepest way it shapes you is through shared traditions, shared culture, and the roles you take on within the group.
Roles, yeah, those are fascinating
Hmm.
because they give you an instant label almost. If you're
Yeah.
the team captain and you got the main part in the play, suddenly that role tells you how to act. And after a while, maybe it starts to shape how you even see yourself.
Mm-hmm. That sense of belonging that comes with it, that's a massive gain. It gives
Yeah.
you security, acceptance, it feels good. But, and this is important, the sources immediately connect belonging with something that takes more work from you.
Mm.
Responsibility. It's not like you just sit back and soak up the acceptance.
All right. That's where it gets deeper, isn't it? We often think of identity as something we just sort of get
Yeah.
from the world around us.
Yeah.
The culture, the language, the support from family. But you're saying the sources kind of flip that idea.
They do, yeah. Identity isn't just what you receive. Fundamentally, it's also about what the community expects you to contribute. And that act of contributing, that changes how you see yourself completely. When you actually do the thing the group expects, maybe it's cheering for a teammate even when you're losing or helping clean up the park on a Saturday. You go from just being a member to being an active part of it, an
Yeah.
agent.
That brings up a really good question for you listening right now. Think about the community where you feel the strongest connection. Could be family, your closest friends, maybe that online group. What responsibility specifically does that group expect from you? Do they count on you to be reliable, super organized? Maybe you're the funny one who keeps things light. That role and how you fill it, that's defining you right now.
And nailing that contribution, fulfilling that expectation, that's what builds your sense of self-worth within that community. You matter because you're needed. You bring something to the table.
Okay, this is getting really interesting. Let's make it super concrete. The sources gave us a great case study example. Ollie. Can we unpack Ollie's situation a bit? It shows how multiple communities can work at the same time.
Yeah, Ollie's a perfect example because he shows how identities can kind of blend together, synthesize. So Ollie plays competitive soccer. What does that community give him? Pride, teamwork skills, physical toughness, confidence. His identity starts to form around being an athlete, right? Someone dependable, someone who pushes through.
But then Ollie does something else. He joins a community that seems, on the surface, totally different, a local music group. This one's focused on culture, creativity, maybe performing. So now he's juggling the physical demands of soccer with, I don't know, the emotional expression of music.
Exactly. And the really cool insight isn't just that he becomes both an athlete and an artist. It's how those two roles start talking to each other inside him. Think about it. The discipline he learned on the soccer field, showing up for practice even when it's tough, managing exhaustion, maybe that helps him stick with practicing a difficult piece of music.
Oh, interesting. And maybe it works the other way too. Like the skills he learns in the music group, listening carefully to others, finding harmony, collaborating, maybe that makes him a smarter team player on the soccer field, less likely to just barge ahead, more strategic. So the communities aren't just separate boxes in his life. They're mixing, blending, creating someone richer and more complex than either group could alone.
But it's probably not always smooth sailing, right? The sources hint at potential friction too. Ollie's got to manage his time. Maybe his soccer coach wants a total commitment right when the music group has a big rehearsal. Learning how to navigate those clashing loyalties, that's also a huge part of figuring out who you are. You learn to prioritize, maybe compromise, definitely communicate what you can and can't do.
Right. And if we zoom out from Ollie, we see the communities aren't just abstract groups. They're really networks of actual people influencing us. Think about all the different individuals in someone like Ollie's life who shape him every day.
The sources were really good at listing those specific roles. You've got teachers, they guide your learning, introduce new ideas, new ways of seeing the world. Neighbors, they create that sense of shared space, safety, that unspoken agreement to be, decent to each other. Friends, obviously shared experiences, inside jokes, loyalty, someone to talk to. And coaches or mentors, they build specific skills, discipline, maybe push you harder than you'd push yourself.
And there was one more group the sources pointed out that's easy to miss, but crucial. Local workers, the people who, keep things running. They might not even know your name.
Exactly. Think about the bus driver who gets you to school or the person stocking shelves at the store. Their work reinforces really important social norms like trust and reliability. Just them showing up and doing their job creates a stable background. That stability lets the rest of us focus on our own stuff, our own identity building. They kind of uphold the whole structure in a way.
That really makes you think differently, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, here's a challenge for you listening, straight from the source material. Can you name 3 people right now who have significantly shaped who you are today? And try to think beyond just your family or best friends. Was there a librarian who suggested that one book? Or a coach who saw potential you didn't? Or even just someone in your neighborhood who was always kind? It forces you to see that huge, often invisible support system you have.
Yeah, it shifts your focus from just thinking about big groups to noticing all those small everyday interactions that add up.
Okay, so we've talked about what community is, how it shapes you, the network of people involved. Now, let's get practical. It's one thing to talk about all this influence, but how do you actually see it for yourself? That brings us to the Create Your Identity Map activity. This was a really cool tool suggested in the sources.
It's meant to be a very hands-on way to visualize this whole web of connections that defines you. It asks you to be pretty honest about where your time and your emotional energy actually go. The idea is you draw my community representing you, your core self, right in the middle of a page.
And then, radiating out from the center, you draw circles. These circles are for the groups you belong to, the influential people in your life, and the important places you spend time in. But here's the twist, the part that makes you think harder. The sources say don't just write words in the circles.
Right, the real depth comes from using symbols and size. The size of the circle shows how important it is to you right now. And the symbol you choose should capture the essence of that influence. What does that community feel like? So if your biggest circle right now is, say, your online gaming friends, what symbol represents that? A controller, a headset, maybe something more abstract like a knot for loyalty or a spark for excitement.
Yeah, great examples. Like under the school category, you wouldn't just write science class. Maybe you draw a little microscope symbol, but you make the circle small because you don't feel that connected to it. Or maybe the school library gets a big circle with thick lines around it and a symbol of an open book because it's your safe, quiet place.
Or think about your neighborhood. Maybe the park gets a circle with a swing set symbol, but it's kind of faded because you used to go there a lot, but not so much anymore. Or the corner store gets a star symbol because the owner always asks how you're doing, and that little interaction matters. These symbols make you quantify the feeling, the emotional weight of each connection.
And definitely include those wider communities too. If you're part of a cultural group, maybe that circle gets a specific pattern or color that represents tradition to you. If a certain online forum is where you get all your best ideas and feedback, maybe this symbol is like a cloud or a network hub.
And once you've sketched out this whole map, and it'll be messy and personal, which is good, there's one more layer, the sources suggest asking yourself a really important reflective question. Which of these communities, looking at your map, do you feel most connected to right now? And really dig into why. Answering that helps you figure out what you really need from a community. Is it freedom, structure, support, shared passion?
Exactly. And seeing it visually can be powerful. If your map has huge, vibrant circles for your online life, but tiny, faint ones for school or your neighborhood,
Mhm.
it's not good or bad. It's just information. It tells you where you're currently finding that sense of belonging, that sense of being seen and valued.
So let's try to pull all these threads together. What have we really learned today? We've seen that communities aren't just static places on a map. They're active, complex networks, people, places, shared values, expectations. And your identity isn't fixed either. It's this dynamic thing that grows as you seek belonging, as you take on responsibilities, and as you kind of absorb and blend the cultures you participate in.
Yeah, and for me, the real aha moment is recognizing just how much support we actually have around us, often without realizing it. When you start to actually see who built you up, who taught you things, who's got your back, the sources say that builds two really crucial things: gratitude, being thankful for that network, and resilience, knowing you've got people and places to lean on when things get tough.
Absolutely. And always remember that dual nature we talked about. You're part of something bigger, family, culture, community, and it gives you so much support. But it's like a contract, isn't it? It works best when you actively participate, when you give back too.
So we spent this time kind of mapping out the territory, identifying the groups, the people, the places that made you who you are, seeing that amazing support system,
And we saw how being part of these communities helps build that resilience, that gratitude. Strong communities need active, caring members doing their part.
which leads us perfectly into our final thought for you to take away and chew on. This one pushes us beyond just understanding into action. We've seen how our communities help us grow. But let's be real, every community, our schools, our neighborhoods, even online groups, they all face challenges. Maybe it's lack of resources, maybe it's conflict, maybe it's just people not caring enough. So the question is, given everything these communities give us, building our resilience, shaping our values, what specific responsibilities do we now have to step up and help improve things, to tackle those challenges in the very communities that support us? That's when your identity really shifts, doesn't it? From just being formed by the community to becoming a force that can help shake it for the better.